going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I want to tell you about something that happened to me this past weekend, and I think it's going to resonate with quite a few of you out there. So stick around. And like I always say, I don't have all the answers. I'm just a guy with something on his mind, and I'd like to share it with you. So this past weekend was 4th of July weekend here in America, and everybody was out celebrating. Me and my girlfriend were out on a boat. Let me set the scene for you. It was a nice party boat. The sun was shining. It was warm. It was everything you'd want for a holiday weekend. And if you're in America, I hope your holiday weekend went similar. So anyways, let me set the scene a little bit. Weather's great. Sun's shining. Light breeze. We're out on a party boat with friends. Drinks are flowing. Good conversation. Everything's looking good. Everything's feeling good. And while I'm sitting there soaking in the sun, sipping on a beverage, I happened to notice the feeling that I had inside was one of content, one of peace, joy, happiness. And then I noticed my girlfriend was rubbing my back, just lightly, casually, running her hand like on my neck and on my back. And I was like, God damn, that feels so good. Why does it feel so good? And then I realized I'm 42 years old and I've had numerous multi-year serious relationships. This is the second time in my life that I have had a relationship where my girlfriend casually shows me affection randomly. Plays with my hair, rubs my neck, pats my back, hugs me out of the blue. That type of random affection. Second time in my life. That's a problem. And I want to be clear and reiterate, this type of affection was not sexual. It wasn't going to lead to anything, naughty. This was simply her just randomly showing me affection. And I don't even think she was aware of it. I think it was subconscious. She was enjoying that moment with me, and her reaching out to touch me was basically a way of connecting and saying, hey, I'm thinking about you and I care about you. So I know a lot of you out there are going to say, hey, my girlfriend does that all the time. And I want to say to you, good. You have a real one. That's the way it should be. But for all the other guys out there who do not have that in their life, I don't just want to shine a light on the problem. I want to try to offer some solutions. And hopefully at the end of the video, you're thinking about things a little bit differently and approaching your relationship a little differently. So the concept in this section that I just talked about was the unexpected power of a small gesture. And what I mean by small gesture is her just reaching out randomly to touch me on the back and say, hey, I'm here and I care about you, was way more powerful than I realized. So the takeaway, what do I want you to take away from that, from my realization? Men, I want you to notice how these moments make you feel. Don't ignore them. Take time, soak it in. Why does it make you feel good? Why are you feeling good in that moment? We have to identify these emotions. I know we're very task-based and we don't really think about how we feel a whole lot. And I'm not telling you to go out and turn into a big pussy. What I'm saying is, when something makes you feel good, take note of why it makes you feel good so we can do what needs to be done to feel good more. And by thinking about this, we can name what makes us feel good so that we can realize how much we've been missing it and if it's something that we can't go without. But first, we have to identify the feeling, the cause and effect. We have to identify that first in the moment. So concept number 2, or theme number 2, most men are starving. We don't even know it. Men are conditioned to survive on emotional crumbs, and we're told that it's enough. And it's not really told by other people, like, no, you should be happy with that. It's just never really talked about as a priority for what men need in a relationship. The emotional side of things is often left out, and it's so important because if you think about it, if you spent, 24 hours a day with your significant other, even if you had sex every single day, what do you do with all the other time? What does that connection look like? What does that connection outside of the bedroom look like? Is it fulfilling, or are you literally just going through tasks all day long, crossing them off your list, being that problem solver, and then hoping for some connection at night in the bedroom? That is nothing. That is crumbs. You need to be able to have a partner that connects with you in the way that you need. We talk all about this, about what females need for emotional connection and emotional safety and stuff like that. Forget about female, forget about male, man, woman, whatever. Humans. Humans are social creatures. We need connection. And I'm not even talking about the bedroom kind. I'm talking about the other 20 hours of the day or whatever. I don't know how long your sessions are, but the rest of the time outside of the bedroom, how are you connecting with your partner? And is it fulfilling for you? If it's not, then you need to reevaluate. If it is, awesome. Make sure it's fulfilling for her as well. So again, I'm 42 years old and have had plenty of serious relationships. And I've only had 2 relationships where someone has routinely showed me unprompted affection. Unconditional, unprompted affection. Most of the time, the affection a man gets is somehow related to performance, success, celebration, apologies. Yay, you did this thing for me. Let me give you a hug. You know, that type of thing. That's like an obligation. That's not unprompted. That's not random acts of affection. That's some sort of a reward system. And again, emotional neglect is often unseen. It's invisible. And we don't call it out because we're told that we don't need it in the first place. Society has drilled it into our head, for good or bad, that men only desire sex as a form of connection and affection. And in reality, sometimes we're just looking for a hug and want our hair played with. So the takeaway for this section is, men, we need to raise our awareness of what feels good and what makes us happy. Don't just drift throughout the day. If something makes you happy, realize it, label it, and then ask your partner for more of it. Now, women, understand how rare it is for a man to feel unconditionally loved and appreciated. Little gestures go a long way, and I would bet money they're more impactful than you actually realize. So concept number 3, love without warmth isn't love. Love should feel warm, safe, mutual, not like a one-sided obligation or some form of emotional management. Now, I realized I had been accepting what I'll call cold love. I had been accepting cold love in the past because it felt normal to me. You know, there's that saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I think a lot of people are in relationships that are very cold and empty, and they don't even realize it. And unfortunately, a lot of people won't realize it until they end up in a warm, loving relationship. And they look back and they're like, holy shit, this is what I need. I didn't know it before because I didn't know it was out there. I thought it was bullshit on the movie screen, but no, this feeling that I have right now is real and it exists. And I want that realization for every single one of you out there because life is too short. That moment out there on the boat for me was my realization. It's like, damn, why does this feel so good? Why do I feel so happy right now? And then I realized all of the boxes that are my needs are being met. And that feels amazing. All my other relationships, except for one in the past, all of them really revolved around me making sure that the other person's needs were checked off the list. And if I got like 1 or 2 of mine checked off, I was happy because the bar was set so low. Because I think as men, we're not really taught that we should have expectations for how our relationships should go. Like, we don't have a list of things that we need, but it's important that we do. Once you realize what makes you happy, you have to take note of that, because if those things make you happy, you need to take that list and find a relationship that checks it all off. If not, you're missing out on life. And one thing I really want to make clear, this is not a blame game. This isn't a man versus woman thing. This was simply me realizing a thing that I need that I didn't really know that I needed. And that's the whole concept for this video, because I'm talking about physical touch. and random acts of affection are important to me, they might not be important to you. It might be something else. But as men, we have to get better at identifying what makes us happy, drill into it and say, what about this thing is what made me happy? And again, it's so important to figure out the difference between affection and obligation. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people have the relationship dynamic where as you're going out the door, you say, hey, I love you, and you give them a kiss. When you get home, you say, hey, give them a kiss, I love you, right? But what about all the other times? Those are important too, but those are almost like ceremonial. They're an obligation. Most likely, your person would be pissed if you left and did not do that every single time, right? They'd be like, what's wrong? Not talking about those. I'm talking about random acts of affection. They walk up to you in the middle of the kitchen, they hug you, they say, I love you, I'm glad you're mine, you make me happy, things like that. That is out of the blue, and they're so important to me personally. And if they are to you too, I hope this video kind of shined a light on it a little bit. And now you know what you need to find in a relationship, or what you need to ask your current partner for in your current relationship. So again, the takeaway for this section and this concept here is ask yourself, do you feel emotionally taken care of on a regular basis? If not, ask for what you need after you've done the work to figure out what that is. Ask for it. If they can't give it to you, then you got to walk. Don't waste time. Life's too short. And model the type of love that you want to receive. Be affectionate. Be randomly affectionate. Be present in the moment, in your partner's lives, and expect the same in return. Now, a lot of men think they're emotionally strong, but that doesn't mean asking for nothing or surviving on emotional crumbs. The real strength comes from doing the work to identify what makes you happy and having the courage to ask for it. Remember, they're not mind readers either. I'm not a mind reader. You're not a mind reader. Your partner's not either. So if they're not giving you what you need, you have to ask for it. Stop hoping and dreaming that they will somehow wake up and be like, you know what? My partner needs more random hugs. No, it's not the way it works. But if they love you, more random hugs shouldn't be a problem. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth. If you got something out of this video, and I hope you did, I hope it changes the way you think about things a little bit. That's always my goal. So if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the bell notifications so you get all the notifications when I go live. I drop a video, 1 to 2 videos a week right now. Coming up on 500 subscribers, so I appreciate you all. I think when I hit 500, I'm going to do a live stream where we react to some content live. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this content, check out these videos right over here because I'm sure they're also right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.